When I started, it hasn't changed a whole lot since then. I started right when I'd say the biofuels boom wound down 2011, 2012. Right as I was joining this algae company, algae was already kind of in a downtrend. A lot of money went into that space, and then the price of oil went down, and it became apparent that it was not going to be it was a tough nut to crack. So at that point, a lot of the capital got gradually redeployed towards more bioproducts. So since I've joined, probably the biggest trend since I've joined has been food. We've moved a lot into different food companies. So we have companies making vegetarian alternatives or vegan alternatives to milk, eggs. Well, there's spider silk, of course. There's collagen. There's all these companies that are taking animal proteins and engineering them into microbial hosts. So that has been a big trend. An interesting new trend we're working with now is things like cannabinoids and opioids. There are companies moving these pathways into yeast. So more recently we've gotten involved in these kinds of projects, and I think these are cool areas to have an impact because it's a much more efficient way of making these things. You don't have to grow a whole plant to extract 0.1% or less of the material as what your actual product is, which is just enormously wasteful of resources. And also from a control standpoint, if you're making opioids, you can make opioids that have a tunable chemistry, and you can control the production. So you don't have a bunch of poppies that you're growing in New Zealand or wherever, where it's easy to just siphon some of the crop off and then sell it on the black market. It's a more controlled way of doing things. So that's been a cool development. Just in the last year or so, we've gotten certifications for that. These are startups, yeah. So I mean, Department of Energy is not going to fund this research, but Department of Energy will allow us to assist industry with these kinds of projects because they are aligned with broadening the general bioeconomy. Fracking is the big reason the oil price crashed, yeah. So I think around the same time that they realized that the biofuels themselves were going to be more expensive than they originally planned, that is around the same time that fracking kicked in and the price of oil dropped down. And at that point, there was just no reconciling the economics. It was obvious that it was not going to pencil in the near future. So the biofuels work has generally moved back into the DOE portfolio and more out of the private sector for now. And so we'll see if there are regulatory things that get enacted that will help boost the price of those renewables, or that will help boost the price of oil, then we could see it shift again. And that could apply just to certain sectors, like renewable jet, for instance, where there's not really an alternative on the horizon for jet fuel. So, yeah. So a lot of that rise and falls with government mandates and subsidies and things. So we have a few things that are out on the shelf today. I think maybe the most exciting one for me in the near term is a company, Checker Spot. We've been working with them for maybe 2 years, maybe more. They spun out of Solazyme, and they are making algal lipids. So they feed sugar to these algae that consume it and produce fat. And then they're taking that fat and they're making polyurethane plastics out of it. So just recently I saw that they've made skis. They're making skis, and they're going to make surfboards, and they're going to make all this cool outdoor equipment. So I'm very excited to see that. That project was one of my first projects. So it's very cool to see them continuing to progress, hit their milestones, and then start turning out cool products that we're going to start seeing on the shelf pretty soon. So it's been satisfying, yeah.